What's up? What's up? What's up? I know it's gonna take people a few minutes to get in here. It's a late night live. I don't know how many people are gonna come through, but we are here. Okay, got one person in the room. Come on in. Come on in. Drop down if you can hear me. Okay. Let me know that you can hear me clearly because I have my earbuds on. What's up, cool gamer? Hey, love. I have my earbuds on, so let me know if y'all can hear me. Okay. If it's clear or not, or if it's not clear. What's up, Miss K? Hey, Miss Kiki, how you doing? Hey, hey, hey. Can you hear me okay? Can y'all hear me okay? Once y'all let me know if y'all can hear me okay, then I'll start talking. Because there's a few people in the room. So nobody's saying anything, so I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. What's up? Okay, y'all can hear me. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. What's up, big bro? What goes on this late child? What's up, Phil? How you doing? So I'm up this late because I have an early flight. Like I'm literally my Uber is picking me up at 4:30. So I just got back in my room maybe about 40 minutes ago. So I said, well, they don't need me really getting comfortable because I only have like 3 hours and I'll be scared to oversleep. Like I'll be scared that I'll get into that good sleep and then I'll oversleep and I'll miss my ride. So I I took a shower and everything, and I said, "Well, I'll talk to my people for about an hour or so while I pack and get myself together." He was about to go to sleep from watching true crime. Ha! Listen, I looked at a true crime yesterday. Well, last night slash this morning, I binged it on Netflix. The Watcher. Have y'all looked at that? Have y'all looked at The Watcher, baby? Oh, that thing is crazy. I'm not gonna spoil it for y'all, but if, has anybody seen it? The Watcher on Netflix. Hey, Brandon, what's up? He's about to watch. I'm gonna watch that when I get home. Listen, y'all, this is my last trip of 2022, so I am back on my grind. I have an early flight. I should be home tomorrow. Because I gotta run a couple of errands before I go home. I gotta stop by the grocery store, and I gotta stop by my mom's house. But I should be in the house by early afternoon. And I'm back on my grind, y'all. We gotta get to 10,000 by the end of the year. So y'all gonna be getting your quick drops again regularly, and I'm gonna get caught up on all my reviews and stuff. But I've been between being sick and then traveling these last couple of weekends. It's just been a lot to try to get caught up on. Me getting sick really set me back because I just didn't have the energy to do nothing. Like I literally didn't have the energy to do anything but lay in the bed. I didn't look at TV because I hardly ever look at TV in my bedroom. And so the TV in my bedroom isn't even hooked up right now because I got a new TV in the living room. And I took the TV from the living room and put it in my bedroom, and I got rid of the TV in my bedroom, and I got rid of the cable on my TV in the bedroom because I never, when I say I never watch TV in my room, I never. So I got rid of the cable box. I just put a fire stick on there. So but I never set everything up. Like I don't even know if the TV's plugged in, y'all. So when I got sick, I ain't even had the energy. Like I do not have the energy to sit here and set up the fire stick, and I just didn't feel like doing none of that. So I really just laid in bed and either watched YouTube or watched stuff on my tablet. I'm getting all of y'all some melatonin, this way past y'all bedtime. Child, listen, y'all the ones that said y'all like the late night one, so I haven't watched it, but it's a 98% match, so I'm about to watch it. Oh, Tracy, it is crazy. When I tell you it's crazy, I'm not gonna give away no spoilers, but The Watcher, it is crazy, and it's based on a true story. And Tracy, I don't know if you follow Stephanie Harlow or not on YouTube. She does true crime. She did the real, like the story that the Watcher is based off of. She did one on her YouTube channel. So I'm gonna listen to that tomorrow. I downloaded it already. I'm gonna listen to that tomorrow when I'm in the airport and probably when I'm on the plane. And Stephanie usually does a really good job of doing the investigation and digging deep and all of that. So I'm going to do that. And then me and Retro said that we're going to cover it on the TSF True Crime channel. Well, I mean, me and him do true crime over on TSF, and we said we were going to do this one because this baby, that thing was crazy. That the Watcher. If y'all haven't seen the Watcher, y'all need to go watch the Watcher. I highly recommend it. It was so crazy. It was definitely one of those stories where by the time you get done, you suspected everybody. You know what I mean? Like at some point in time, you were like, "Oh no, it was them. Oh no, shoot, it was them. Oh no, it was her. Oh no, it was him. Oh no, it was." By the time you go through the whole thing, you done suspected every damn body. At least I did. I was like, I couldn't keep up. I said, "No, he did it. No, she did it. And they did it. No, Will did it. Blah, 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 blah." It was crazy. And the fact that it's based on a true story is it's wild, y'all. It is so wild that it was based on a true story. It's so wild. Have you seen I'm a Stalker or Killer Sally? No, you know what? When I say I'm behind on everything, y'all. You know, I have not watched a lot of stuff for pleasure. Most of what I've watched the last couple of months is stuff that I'm watching for YouTube. So I haven't had an opportunity to do a lot of because the stuff like that, as like a lot of that stuff is stuff I do for me. Because but I have not watched it yet. I have not watched it yet. You watched Killer Sally? Now I think I saw. She was like a bodybuilder or something. I think. What's up, Mo? It's a mini vacay, but I'm having a good time. I've actually had a really good time. It's just a little weekend getaway, but I did what I came to accomplish, so it was cool. It was cool. Hey, Willie Brown, how you doing? Thank you, love. Mr. Brown always comes in and makes sure wishes me a safe day and be blessed, y'all. Why am I making you want to move to the DMV? I'm never there. I'm never there. I don't know why it makes you want to move to the DMV. But I mean, it's not a bad. I mean, the cost of living is high, but if you got a decent job, it's not a bad place to live. That's my home. Listen, that's my born and raised. So her husband were bodybuilders. Okay, then I think I saw a preview for it or a trailer or something. I'm gonna have to check that one out. I did hear that was a good one. Um, it's been a couple of good ones on Netflix. The Netflix true crime is definitely blowing up. It is definitely blowing up. True crime is blowing up, like as a genre. Now, as somebody who's been watching true crime for a very long time, I don't know how I feel about the fact that it's blowing up because just like anything else, when it becomes a trend and then people start rushing just to put anything out. And now what I'm finding with a lot of the true crime shows that are coming on, a lot of these stories I already know because I've been watching true crime for so long. So a lot of these stories are not new to me. So whenever a new show comes on, I usually end up deleting half the episodes because I'll be like, oh, I remember this one. Oh, I remember this one. Now, sometimes because they're telling it from a different point of view, sometimes I'll end up watching the whole thing because I'll be like, oh, wait a minute, they got more information, or their information is updated, or they're telling it from a different point of view. So I'm getting a different perspective. But for the most part, because everybody now is trying to jump on the bandwagon, a lot of it is just watered down, hastily put together. It's not a whole lot of research. You know what I mean? They're not going deep. They're just giving the surface. But I'm going to tell you, wow. I did see Wakanda Forever. And Joy, I don't think it was trash. I'm sorry you felt that way. Um, 11. I don't know what that means. Um, yeah, I went to see Wakanda today. I'm gonna have to see it again though. I definitely need to see. For me, I definitely need to see it a second time. One, I missed a few minutes of it at the beginning, so I definitely want to see the whole. I want to get the whole feel for it. Um, but I want to see it again. So I'll probably go see it again maybe this weekend coming up. Well, I know you're from there. Everyone I know from the DMV are the sweetest. And oh, well, thank you so much. I thought Wakanda Forever was great. I'm sorry that you, Joey, that you felt like it was trash, sir. But everybody, listen, everything can't make everybody happy. Everything can't make everybody happy. I know, Tracy. That's why I got to see it again. Really be, where are the good places in DC to live? My cousin is looking and researching Airbnbs in your neck of the woods for the next travel nurse assignment. I thought maybe you can steer us. I can help you, but I would need to ask some specific questions that I don't know if you want to give me information publicly. But let me say this. I would need to know exactly where she's going to be working, like what hospital she's going to be working at. I mean, I know you said she's a travel nurse, so I don't know if she's working at a facility or a hospital. And then I can probably give you some good areas based on so that she doesn't have a long commute or whatever. Um, Also, is she moving to DC or is she moving to Maryland? Because that makes a difference too. Because I wouldn't want to recommend neighborhoods in DC and then she's in Maryland. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure that but I can definitely do that. So if you want to hit me up so that I can be more specific, because again, I don't know if you want me to be telling all your cousin's business, but I definitely, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. And there are plenty of Airbnbs. There's some really, really nice Airbnbs in the area, good neighborhoods and stuff like that. So I don't have no problem with that. Not a problem. Not a problem. I haven't seen Black Panther. Oh, you've never seen the original Phil? You never seen any of it? So you got to go watch Black Panther now. It was good. I thought it was good. You've watched it twice already. Thursday, and my son Saturday with my mom. I'm going for date night tonight. I know that's right, Tracy. You better get it in and get you your Wakanda on. Like I said, I know I need to see it over because I missed the beginning, and that's the part I do know I need to see. Um, but I thought it was really good. I do. And again, I know there are people out here that aren't happy with the movie, but the one thing I say is you just can't make everybody happy. I mean, that's just that. Everybody ain't gonna be there's there's just no way to make everybody happy. So, you know, what you gonna do? There's gonna be some people that's gonna absolutely hate the movie. Can't do nothing about them people, you know? And just like there are times when movies are made and I hate the movie. And people are like, why you hate the movie? It was a great movie. And I'd be like, but no, but it wasn't. So that's what happens. Hey Mims. What's up? What's up? Met Mims tonight, y'all. He is a whole mess. Let me tell you something. Mims is a shady ass mess in real life. What you see is what you get. I laughed and cried and talked ish. What in the movie? Shazam is the only okay superhero movie. Really, Shazam? Now you just trolling. You just trolling. I don't know who you are, Joey, but you're trolling. Cause Shazam, really, sir, really. Did I choke Scotty? No, no, I didn't choke Scotty. Scotty tried to give me a hard time though. Well, then, if you feel like all the superhero movies are for kids, then why does it bother you if you don't like it? Like, it doesn't. That doesn't make sense, Joey. If you feel like the movies are for kids and you're not a kid, then why does it bother you? No, El Teddy actually had to go out of town this weekend. So he was going out of town, and then the conference that he was going for was canceled. But then he had to go take care of something, so we ended up not catching up. And he was like, and El Teddy, he was upset. Oh man, I'm gonna miss you. You gonna be in town? And I was like, well, it's all good. Hell, he about to be in DC. I think next weekend and some weekend in December. So he about to be in DC. He'll be all right. El Teddy got a bottle of liquor on my bar. He'll be fine. Once he get there, pour him a drink. He'll be all right. I ain't worried about El Teddy crazy ass. But no, yeah, he had to take care of something, so we didn't get a chance to catch up. But yeah, so The Watcher is highly recommended. Like I said, I love true crime. I'm gonna tell you what got me into true crime. I think I was always interested in true crime. Like even going as a kid, I think I always enjoyed reading about things that happen and like unsolved. Because I remember the TV show Unsolved Mysteries that when we was kids. I always loved unsolved mysteries. I always loved America's Most Wanted. Y'all remember America's Most Wanted? I loved America's Most Wanted. But I think Snapped on Lifetime. This was a Lifetime or well, it's called Oxygen now, but it didn't used to be called Oxygen. When Snap first started coming on, what was the name of the? Because they changed the name to, or was it Oxygen? Maybe it was Oxygen the whole time. I feel like Snap used to come on another channel, and the channel changed its name. But neither here nor there. Snap's been coming on for probably about 20 years, child. And I remember when they first started coming on, and they had these talking about all these women killing their husbands, because the majority of the shows in the beginning, the majority of the Snap episodes were about women who snapped on their husbands. And I'm telling you, 95% of those episodes, it came down to life insurance. I said, every man better watch his wife whenever she starts talking about some life insurance, because that means she's about to kill him. Because I felt like that's what happened. I feel like every time it was like, oh, well, she about to kill him. Life insurance, child. No Blank Man was the best superhero. Oh Lord, I hate Blank Man. I can't wait to see Wakanda. I loved America's Most Wanted on a Saturday night. Unsolved Mysteries. Good. Yeah, I loved America's Most Wanted. And let me tell you what I used to love from, and I this gonna sound crazy, but what I loved the most of America's Most Wanted was when they would give the updates and they would talk about all the people they captured. I was like, let me tell you something. I always wanted to recognize somebody. I know that, like in hindsight, that sounds dangerous now. But as a kid, when I was looking at America's Most Wanted, I wanted to recognize somebody so I could call that number. I was like, I'm gonna get somebody captured. I never recognized nobody. I never saw none of them people. But I used to love at the beginning of every episode, they would talk about who they captured and how many people they captured. I hated when the show got canceled. I was like, imagine how many people got caught because of America's Most Wanted. I hated when the show got canceled. I mean, I understand at a certain point you just got to move on, but I just felt like it was a good service for a good service, a good service. I felt like it was doing something because these people was getting captured, honey. And I mean, people who had been on the run for 20 years, 10 years, 15 years. Remember, if y'all watched America's Most Wanted, then y'all remember. Y'all remember the guy that killed his whole family and disappeared? Do y'all remember him? He like laid them all out. He waited for them to come home, like the kids to come home from school. I don't know. He just snapped one day and he killed his whole family. Little short white guy. And remember, he had been on the run, and they found him. They had him on America's Most Wanted, and I think he got captured like a week later. I said, "You mean to tell me this man been on the run for 20 years, killed his whole family, and he was on America's Most Wanted for 5 minutes and got caught?" Oh man, not true crime. You know what? Me too, Tracy. True crime always has me thinking about alibis. I be like, I live by myself. 90% of the time, I can't prove. Well, now that I'm on YouTube, I can be like, I was live. I was on my YouTube. But I remember thinking that too. Like, what about single people who don't live with nobody? Like, you in trouble if you ever get caught up. Yep, Snap is still one of my Saturday rotate. I love Snap. And they still coming out with new episodes too. I watch Snap every week. It comes on Sunday nights. And it don't never have no off season. It just goes season. It'll be off for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then they be like new episodes of Snap. I be like, damn, you only been gone for 2 or 3 weeks. Uh, Fatal Attraction on BET is pretty good. A lot of those stories are overlaps of Snap. Like if you regularly watch Snap, a lot of the Fatal Attraction episodes on BET are overlaps, but it's a different perspective. Really be sounding like that apartment pupil movie looking for people on the most wanted list. Have you seen? No, I haven't seen that one. I loved America's Most Wanted. You know, John Walsh has a new show called Pursuit with his son on the ID channel, which is kind. Yeah, I do, but you know what? I need to. I need to watch it because I honestly haven't watched it. I know to leave my cell phone. Right, you better take the battery out that cell phone. It's actually best for you not to take the battery out because if they see that you took the battery out, then they're gonna automatically think that you're trying to hide something. Or if you cut your phone off, yeah, it's best to just leave it at home, and that way it'll keep pinging off of that tower, like you were home. hmm Let me tell you something that I learned. I learned that you got to start acting like you really upset when somebody died, because the police really be acting like, oh, she didn't cry enough. I was like, baby, they not an emotional person. But then if you act up too much, they be like, we just feel like it was just a little bit overboard. She was just doing a little too much. I'm like, well, damn, do you want people to be upset or not? You know what, Lauren? I don't really like this For My Man. I don't know. I couldn't get into for. I watched a couple of episodes. I don't know. I think maybe the premise irritates me. I don't like the whole. I mean, I know it happens. I know it's real, but I don't like the whole people acting so damn. Oh, the things people do for a man. Oh my gosh, it's just crazy. Before My Man does come on, and then it's another one. I used to like the shows like American Gangster, not the movie, but the TV show that highlighted all the drug kingpins from like the 80s and 90s. I used to like that when it came on. And now they have American Queen, the Queen Pin, like the female version. Those are pretty good. But let me tell you what I don't like about the women. A lot of times their crime is white collar crime. Like they know how they were stealing money. A lot of them were like stealing money from banks or running scams and stuff like that. And what I hate about the women is a lot of times they had made so much money that they could just get out and be good. And it's just like it just gets so good to you, you just can't stop. And I be mad because I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, because most of these women have children, right? So they move their kids, they got them in good schools, they move to a nice neighborhood, yada yada yada. I'm like, okay, now you can stop. You know you got your kids, you know you got to do this and do that. Like now you can stop, child, and they just keep going, keep going, keep going. You know what? I'm not doing this with you, Tracy. Oh yeah, let me tell you something, Phil. The production on Fatal Attraction is definitely horrible. And For My Man, yeah, the production value is definitely low budget. It is beyond low budget. The wigs are horrible. The acting, like, don't even watch them act out the scenarios. Like when they get to like talking to, it is horrible. Where are you going? Why did you hit me? Like it is horrible. Like the acting is horrible. Yeah, you got to get past that. You got to get past. You know what? I never got into Cops. Cops was never my show. I never. I thought Cops was more funny than anything else. Like it was to me, it was more of a caricature. Like the TV show Cops and Reno 911, which was supposed to be a caricature of Cops, like a parody, not caricature, but a parody of Cops. I always thought it was just they were equally bad to me. I was like, Reno 911 to me, Cops was just, it was funny to me. And I know I wasn't supposed to be laughing. Like, it wasn't supposed to be funny. You know what I mean? But I found it hilarious. I remember that Ving Rhames was the narrator of the American Gangster series on BT. Right. Now he's got the meat, the army commercial. Child, you would think that it was Tyler Perry with them wigs, Tracy. Those wigs are. Listen, now I agree with you on that one, Phil, 120%. The production value is horrible. Now the production value is horrible. You ain't never lied about that one. You ain't never lied about that one. But anyway, but y'all watch the Watcher. We're gonna talk about it on TSF. So y'all watch it. So y'all be ready to talk about it with us. But like I said, it was good. I recommend it. It's based on a true story. It's based on a true story. And then if you watch the Netflix one, go over to Stephanie Harlow's YouTube channel. Stephanie, I guess it's spelled the regular way you spell Stephanie. Her last name is Harlow, Harlowe. She's like a white girl with red hair. Um, and she does true crime. And and like I said, she does a really good job of doing the research because she did like a 5-part series on Casey Anthony. And that was really good. She broke down the whole Casey Anthony thing. That was pretty good. She's done a lot. Like I said, she's been doing her YouTube channel for about 4 or 5 years, so she's got plenty of stories over there. And she does a story. I'm gonna say she averages a story a week, maybe less, but it's at least 2 to 3 a month. And like I said, a lot of her stories she'll break down 4 or 5 part series because it's a lot of information. Like she did, like I said, and with the documentary for Casey Anthony coming out, y'all might want to go back and look at her. I think she did like a 4 or 5 part series on Casey Anthony. Like she went all the way back to when Casey Anthony was a kid. And like, child, Casey Anthony was a problem her whole life. And her parents covered up for her whole life. Like Casey Anthony lied about so much stuff as a kid that her parents just let her lie and let her get away with. I said, see, y'all created that monster. Like, for example, Casey Anthony lied about graduating from high school. She knew she wasn't graduating. She let her parents come to graduation. She let her parents plan a graduation party. Like, she did all of this knowing she was not graduating from high school. Even when the letters came home, she told her parents, oh, that's just an error. I'm graduating. And I want to say she had like a fake letter or something. But either way, the day of graduation rolled around. Her grandmother was there. Like her family was there. And she was not graduating. And she never did graduate from high school. Like she never went back and graduated. I was like, how do y'all just let her get away with that? Like, I was like, how do y'all let the girl get away with the fact that she just lied about graduating from high school? Like, that is crazy. But she lied about so much stuff that by the time that poor baby disappeared, I'm sure her parents knew she was lying, but they did the same thing they had done their whole life. They just covered up for a child. I mean, she even lied about when, if I remember correctly, I want to say she lied about even being pregnant, like telling them about the baby and who the father was. It was a mess. She was just a liar. She was just a horrible, horrible person. I say was like she's past tense. So it'll be interesting. And I still will never understand how the I will never understand how the jury let her off. Like, I'm like, are y'all looking at what I'm looking at? But a lot of times we get information that the jury doesn't get. So certain things, like I'm sure they weren't able to talk about her whole history as a kid and everything she ever lied about. Like, I'm sure they probably weren't able to bring all of that into evidence. But child, let me see. TP needs to do a version of The Watcher. not I've been traumatized enough. Does the video start? Yeah, the video stopped with her making coffee. Yep, that's her. That's her. I only follow 2 people on YouTube that's asking a lot from me. listen, listen. I understand Tracy, but I'm just saying she's really good. Now I will say this: if I'm being fair, if I have to give a criticism of Stephanie, Stephanie gets very vested. So I will say that I feel like sometimes she's not objective. She does the podcast on her channel, and then she also does a joint podcast. I think it's called Crime. What's it called? I can't go into it now. I got to remember what it is, but she does that with Derek, the guy from he won Big Brother. He's a former cop. They do a channel together, and so a lot of times when they're going over the stories, he's telling the story from a a law point of view. Like he's like, listen, I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying legally, this is probably what the cops were able to do. This is what the cops weren't able to do. Like he gives like a perspective, and she'll be like, I don't care. I don't care, man. How can you believe that he's innocent after all of that? I'm like, calm down. So sometimes she does get a little carried away. I will say that. Sometimes she gets a little caught up. But I think because she digs so deep in her research and she just has so much evidence that supports her opinion, it's just hard for her to be like, no, no, no. That's how I feel about it. I think sometimes that's what happens with her. But she's so good. Like her information is, she really digs deep, y'all. She really does the research. But anyway, Wakanda. I'm not going to give any spoilers. And this is coming from a like, I don't do all of the Marvel, I don't read all the comic books, I don't know all of the backstories. Just from a fan of the movie, I think they did a good job. I think they did a really, I think it was a great storyline. Remembering that they had to basically scrap pretty much whatever they were going to do with Chadwick dying, and then they had to deal with the fans as far as whether they should recast, should they not recast, how do they honor him? Like it was a lot. It was a tightrope that Ryan Coogler and the rest of the team had to walk as it related to as it related to the movie. They had a lot that they had to consider as far as the fans are concerned, as far as staying true to the story. Because what a lot of people don't realize is the Black Panther is not one person. The Black Panther is the position. So I know we got caught up with Chadwick Boseman being Black Panther, but if you follow the comics, Black Panther isn't one person. Um, I mean, I was disappointed, obviously, just like everybody else, that we wouldn't be able to see the vision for Chadwick in that character. But I think they did a good job of figuring it out. That's just my opinion. I think they did a really good job of figuring it out, y'all. Again, remember they had a lot. They had a lot they had to dance around. And then it was in the middle of the pandemic, so they had to deal with that. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I feel like they did a good job. That's just my opinion. I'm not gonna give any spoilers because I know a lot of people haven't seen it yet. So I'm not gonna get into storyline or whatever. Um, but I definitely saw a theme that they were pushing with this. There was a lot of girl power. Um, a lot of girl power. I feel like they were um, pushing that theme of women empowerment, which I'm here for. I'm here for women empowerment, and I feel like they were pushing that concept a lot. Hey, cross country, how you doing? No, no, no. I'm not giving. No, no, no. I'm not telling no. No, no spoilers. I'm not giving any specifics. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to talk too much deeper than that. Just that I saw a lot of girl power as a theme. I don't know if y'all agree with me or not, the people who saw it, but I definitely saw a lot of girl power. Um, but no, I'm not. No spoilers. I wouldn't do a spoiler this early. I would at least give people a couple of weeks before I start talking specific storylines and plots and stuff, because everybody ain't see that movie. The movie just came out Thursday. Like, I know a lot of people saw it, but I would give people a couple of weeks. But let me say this: even if you can't make it to go see the movie, buy a ticket, because the opening weekend of the box office, it means a lot. It counts and it means a lot as far as the numbers, and y'all know how to go. Y'all know how the business of this goes. So if you can, if it's in your financial wherewithal, buy a ticket this weekend. Even if you can't make it to see the movie, just buy a ticket. We want the numbers to look good for opening weekend. I don't like Letitia Wright in the first movie. I don't think she's a strong actress. liked her. I liked her. I liked her. Um, in the movie, in the second movie, hmm, I don't know if I liked her as much in this movie as I did in the first one, but she had a she had a stronger role in this one than she did in the first one. So maybe that, maybe I don't know, but I liked her in the first one, and I liked her in the second one. I just, yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I liked her in both, but I could see, hey Tessa, but I could kind of see where you coming from. I can kind of see where you're coming from. Yeah, child. Did y'all see these fake storylines? Did y'all see where Safari admitted, for those of you who watch Love and Hip Hop, did y'all see where Safari admitted that it was a fake storyline with him allegedly sleeping with Lyrica, and that was a storyline that him and A1 came up with, and that it was really only supposed to be for one episode, that he was flirting with her and it made her uncomfortable, and they were supposed to like talk about the fact that he flirted with her and it made her uncomfortable, and he apologized and then they moved on. But I guess it got so good to him that they played it up way more than what they were supposed to, and it turned into a whole thing. And if you watched Love and Hip Hop that season, you saw that it basically was like a whole storyline. But let me say this. Let me just say this. Child, I knew that storyline was fake. Did y'all not realize? I mean, did any of y'all think it was real? I think the cast has such a strong actors and actresses that you could see she is not as strong. I love the movie. Hell, I'm about to watch it for the third time. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying, Tracy. We'll talk more detail about it when I do my actual like review, because then we could get into the details. I don't want to say too much because again, I don't want to get too much into this movie versus last movie and what I liked and what I didn't like. Um Let me tell you, I loved what's my man? The one from the tribe. What's his name? Yeah, Babatui, but y'all know I can't remember nobody's damn name. What's up, Doc Chocolate? But I loved his character in this movie. I loved what they did with his character in the movie. They really need to listen to him more because he really be knowing what he's talking about. His delivery is a little harsh, but he really knows what he's talking about. They really need to pay attention to him. So I have a question. Why was Lyrica so mad at K Michelle? Because Lyrica said she got mad because they went too far with it. Because remember, it was only supposed to be a flirt. It was only supposed to be a flirt. Remember, K Michelle was the one that was talking about, well, Safari called me and told me what happened. Remember, K Michelle was acting like she had this inside tea that Safari called her and told her that he had slept with Lyrica. And so that's why Lyrica got Mbaku. Yeah, thank you. Why? Why I was calling him all kinds of names? Mbaku. I love him. But I loved him in the first movie. I loved him in the first movie. Um, but yeah, I I think that's why she got so upset with K Michelle because again, it was only I mean, according to them, now they lying. So I mean, they admitting that they lied. So you could take what they saying now with a grain of salt. But what she was saying was it was only supposed to be that they were flirting. Um, that that it was only supposed to be that they were flirting. And remember, K Michelle was the one that was like, "Oh, well, Safari called me and told me you're not going to tell the truth. You're not going to tell the truth." And because that's what Lyrica said. She said she was going along with it at the beginning, but when she felt like they just went too far with it, and so of course, it upset her. She felt like they went too far with it. Dark chocolate latte. We'll talk about that when I do my full review. I'm gonna give it about. Um, I usually give people about 2 weeks. I'm probably going to do a review, like a little 5 or 10 minute, just with no spoilers. But probably in about 2 weeks, we'll dig deep. So we could talk about that. Dark chocolate. I think, but I will say this. I think with her character, I think they're setting up if there's going to be more Black Panther movies, I think they're setting her up for a bigger role down the line. That's what I feel like they're doing with her. But so I feel like they're establishing her character, and if there's going to be, which I feel like, I feel like there'll be another movie if they can get the right script. I feel like there'll be another movie, especially if this movie makes money. Like if this movie makes money, it's a no brainer. But I think they have to wait and see what the long term is going to be with people and how people would get over, Chadwick and all of that. K Michelle was trying to make it more believable, I guess. Yeah, and like I said, Lyrica said that for her it just went too far. She said she went along with the fake storyline. She went along with the her Safari was flirting with her. Like she was cool with that, but then she said she felt like it just went too far. When it really got into Safari and her having sex. She just said that she felt like, and again, let's be clear, all of them are admitting that they lied. So at this point, who knows? Here's the thing, and at this point, this is where I am with these quote unquote reality shows. We know that a lot of it is not reality. We know that a lot of these storylines are exaggerated, some are just straight up made up. And that's why when I do my reviews, when real shit goes down, what do I always say, y'all? When reality TV meets reality. So, for example, on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Erica Jane, that was some reality. Her husband and that whole situation that happened, that was reality. That gave her a storyline for 3 seasons, right? Dorit's house getting robbed. Dorit didn't have no storyline until her house got robbed. And don't get me wrong, I don't wish nothing bad on nobody, and I'm glad that her and her kids didn't get hurt. But it gave her a storyline. Rumor was Dorit was getting ready to be demoted to friend of the show because she don't have nothing going on. And the thing that I hate about now, I'm gonna say this: the one thing I hate about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, um, it seems like they get away with not talking about their scandals. The other shows, if something go down, they got to talk about it. But with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, it's like they get away with not talking about their scandals. Like Dorit and her husband and that whole situation where they owe money. Erica Jane and her husband, shit, her husband been getting, um, her husband, had been getting sued, and remember Erica sidestepped that. Kyle and her husband have had legal issues, and it's like none of that comes onto the show. But let that be another show, child. They'll talk about all of it. And what I will say is this: I'm not going to make it a black and white thing because they have different production companies. The same people don't produce. The people that do the Real Housewives of Atlanta don't do the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So when it's a different production company, things look different too. What's up, Harold? I look so good in the pics down to the bar. Oh, thank you, boo. We had a good time. We definitely had a good time. It's cool. And you know what's funny? All of those YouTubers were together and we hardly talked about YouTube. I mean, we talked a little bit about YouTube, but we really were just chilling and just talking and joking and having a good time. We talked a little bit about YouTube, but not like not like we were obsessed with it. Like YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. You know, most of us are fans of each other, so that was cool to have like a fan moment. Be like, oh my gosh, I love watching your videos, and I love this and I love that. So that was cool. Um, like out of all of the YouTubers there, I had the lowest subscriber count. So for me, everybody there, I was like, oh, I love your video. I love you. I love you. Ciao. Let me turn this heat up a little bit. I don't want to, because I like sleeping when it's cold. Like when it's cold, I don't want to fall asleep. So let me turn this heat up a little bit, honey. I'm mostly packed. I just got those last minute odds and ends I need to throw in my bag. my charger. Yeah, that's the main thing. My charger, my book. So I think the problem with Beverly Hills is the other cast members will not talk about it. Child, yeah, Anita Baker's going on tour again. I saw that. I love Anita Baker. My dad loved him some Anita Baker, honey. Hey, LaDonna, what's up, love? Oh shit, I'm making a mess. Sitting here eating this cupcake that I don't have no business eating in the middle of the night. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's a different production company, and I think that when you produce differently, they allow people to get away with certain things. And that's the one thing I will say. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we hear all these rumors, and they never address them. And I mean, some of them aren't rumors, or they'll just throw it out there like as a, okay, ask this question. Okay, moving on. You know what I mean? Like Erica mentioned the lawsuits. All she could say was, I can't talk about it. It's an ongoing investigation. I can't talk about it. But Karen had a whole press conference on the Real Housewives of Potomac about her husband owing taxes. You know what I'm saying? They had a whole damn press. Well, it was a bullshit fake press conference, but you know what I mean. It was Harold. It was cool as hell. Mm-mm. But yeah, because I'm trying to think. Now, I think the same people that do Potomac do Atlanta now, but it didn't used to be. And Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is a different production company than. I'm trying to think who has the same production companies. I think Potomac and Atlanta have the same production companies now, but they didn't. They didn't at first. Miami has a different production company. I think Dallas had the same production company as New Jersey, but don't quote me on that. I think. Let Candy not have got served by someone on a cash trip. The whole cast would be talking about it in the confessional and then on the group dinner. What you mean? I don't know what you mean. Tracy would have got served. Oh, you mean like legally served, like served legal papers? Oh, okay. Who got served on the cash trip? What I missed? Tracy, who got legal papers on the cash trip? I don't even know what you're talking about, love. I missed that story. My damn self. But I will say they do keep certain things out. For example, on the Real Housewives of Potomac, Robin, when they went to Jamaica that year, that Robin allegedly was hosting the trip, which we know that Robin wasn't hosting the trip, child. Um, but remember, Robin missed the plane. Remember, she was late and she missed the flight. So when she got there, she paid for dinner and her card got declined, child. But they didn't put that on the show. You know what I mean? So some things they do keep out. Cause I was like, ooh, can you imagine how embarrassing that would have been if that had made it on camera that her card got declined? Mm. Child, she'd have never let that one down. Oh, Dorit got served? I didn't know she got served, child. I need for Beverly Hills Production Company to take on Atlanta and Potomac. I think Potomac's doing fine. Atlanta needs some help. But I think Atlanta needs help because Atlanta need a whole new cast. I like Candy. I think Kenya makes good TV. Sheree can go somewhere, but I think all of them need to leave because there's nothing left for them to talk about that we care about. Um, Candy don't have nothing. I mean, I like Candy, y'all. I do, but Candy has nothing new to bring. And unless she, like we've gone through her and her mama issues, her and Todd issues. She even tried to bring in her daughter in that storyline, and that didn't really go anywhere. We know that she know how to start a business. We know she know how to run a business. We know she know how to take a moment and turn it into money. Like we got that. We know that about her. But at this point, there's really nothing left for Candy to tell us. Um, Sheree, we don't care about. Like we just don't. We don't care about anything that Sheree got going on, especially after this fiasco with She by Sheree. Don't nobody care about her. And then we have Kenya. The only interesting thing that Kenya can show us is her getting back into dating. But the reality of the situation is nobody gave a damn about Kenya dating when she was still single. Because remember, half of her storylines were fake. Remember? So, child, nobody cared about that anyway. To me, Potomac didn't get good until the last 15 minutes last week. Atlanta for sure needs a huge overhaul, full of unknowns, i.e., season one. Yeah, I agree. I listen, Harold. I agree with you 100%. I think Atlanta need to go back to the basics and stop trying to bring in people with a name. Bring in, and they may need to do in Atlanta what they're trying to do in New York, where they have like an old school, like they have New York, what's it called, Legends or Legacy, and then they got the new kids on the block. They may need to do something like that with Atlanta. I don't know if they care to have two separate productions going on, but they may need to just bring in a bunch of no names, a bunch of people that that we don't know. They might be connected to people we know, but like, because like for example, when you go back to season one, the closest thing we had to a celebrity out of that cast on season one was the fact that Sheree was married to an ex-football NFL player, and Deshaun being married to a NBA player. That's it. Because Lisa Wu was married to Keith Sweat, but she couldn't talk about it. She couldn't talk about Keith. She couldn't talk about Keith Sweat, and she couldn't talk about her kids. So if you didn't know that she had been married to Keith Sweat or had kids by Keith Sweat, you wouldn't know. So there really was no big celebrity situation. You know what I mean? And those women were able to build who they were from the show. So I agree with that. As far as Potomac last week, I think I think we as the viewers are over the blatant. It's blatant and obvious what Giselle does and what Robin goes along with. And I think we're just over it as viewers. Even if you like Giselle, I think even people who like Giselle are over it. You know what I'm saying? I think because when you see it, it's so obvious. Like right now with this whole Wendy situation, people are really acting like they don't understand why Wendy mad. And I'm like, why are y'all gonna sit here and act like Wendy wasn't supposed to, like that Giselle and Robin weren't coming for Wendy's marriage last season? Like, why are we gonna sit here and act like we didn't know that Giselle and Robin were trying to create a whole storyline about why Wendy had this plastic surgery and that they heard rumors about Eddie out in the streets, and like, why are we acting like that wasn't part of what this whole setup was going to be last season, including Ashley? Y'all remember when they were down in Williamsburg and Ashley got her ass and her happy ass and drove 3 hours to Williamsburg just to bring bullshit for 2 or 3 hours just to drive home. Like, why are we not acting like we didn't see all that last season? So for Wendy to still have an attitude, like, y'all act like Wendy ain't supposed to be mad at y'all. Y'all really act like Wendy is wrong. And then the whole situation with Robin, girl, you mad at Wendy because Wendy read the fuck out of you, but she wasn't even talking to you. She was talking to Giselle. But because you have a need to defend Giselle and jump in whenever Giselle got something going on, so because you were defending Giselle, you got your ass, you got caught up. That wasn't on Wendy, that was on you. Yes, Treasure Lane. I'm keeping vampire hours, honey. I'm about to get off here in a few minutes because I'm gonna try to rest my eyes for about an hour. Because my flight leaves, my Uber will be here at 4:30, and I'm packed and ready to walk out the door. So I'm gonna set like 20 alarms and just lay down, just rest my eyes for about an hour, child. That's really what ruined it for me. The Real Housewives of Potomac fans are insufferable. They are definitely opinionated. Because after that Monique Candace season, oh my gosh, that was just horrible. That season was horrible. Spill it, boy. I don't understand the outrage now. Giselle has been coming for relationships since season two. This is nothing new. But you know what, Tracy? I just think, see, somebody doing something once, you could be like, oh, okay. Somebody doing something twice, you're like, hmm. But when it becomes fourth and fifth time, now you know it's an absolute pattern. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where everybody is with it now. It's like, okay, come on now. Like, what you're doing is obvious. Like, you're just going for the exception of Robin. And Robin, don't be fooled. The only reason why she ain't come for you is because she like you. But she has tried to attack every marriage on the show. Me is such a disappointment on Potomac. She ain't no disappointment to me because I ain't had no expectations of her. I don't even know her ass. Let me tell you something about Mia. After that first episode, and Mia couldn't remember how old she was. I don't know why anybody believed anything else that came out that woman's mouth. She's clearly lying about everything. Now we find out that she lied about how she met G. Because last season she said she met G down to the strip club. Now she's saying she met G at South Beach. Remember, the strip club was in Charlotte, North Carolina. Remember that. It was a strip club in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, last week you said you met him down in South Beach when you were down having a girls' weekend, and y'all met up and y'all was having sex on the beach while he was still married. So I'm gonna need you to make up your mind. Like, you've been lying since you came on the show. Mm. You know what? I'm gonna need to do global entry. I'm gonna have to get that done next. That's gonna be the next thing I do. It's global entry for the next time I go internationally. Because let me tell you something. Going through customs is not fun. It is not fun. And I lucked up when we came back from France. They let us go through the global entry line because the line was so short. I mean, I still had to go through the whole process, but their line was so short. They were letting us. They were letting people get in that line. So I lucked up. But coming from when we got off the plane to go into France, oh my gosh, that was a pain in the ass. Mia is a habitual liar. I was really trying with her, but she lost all respect for me the moment production showed that Chris Bassett wasn't even child. But here's that's what I'm saying, Harold. I don't even know why that bothered y'all this season after all the lies she did. Remember last season when she lied on Wendy and when they confronted her about it? I mean, she lied to Wendy about what Giselle said or vice versa. I don't even remember now. And when they confronted her about it, and she said, well, that's how I heard it. Girl, you lied. That ain't how you heard it. You were trying to create a moment and you lied. Robin has been aggressive since season two when she ran up on Ashley. She sure did. And then even with that situation with her and Monique, everybody, because people was mad at Monique and because of what happened with the fight, everybody was ready to come for Monique. But Robin got in Monique's face. Monique was using the umbrella to keep Robin out of her face. But when everybody was mad at Monique, they tried to turn it into, you see what Monique did with the umbrella with Robin? Yeah, because Robin was in her damn face. And Monique was telling her, back up off me, Robin. Robin, back up off me. But again, that goes back to that selective outrage. When you mad at somebody, then you see stuff the way you want to see it instead of the way it really happened. Where are you headed? I'm headed home. It includes TSA pre-check. Yeah, I have pre-check, but I don't have global entry. I said I'm gonna do clear because you can do clear. You can do your clear stuff right there in the airport. I just never really had time to do it, but I said I was gonna do clear. The thing I like about pre-check, even though the line, like when we came through Vegas, the line for pre-check was longer than regular TSA. But what I like about pre-check is I don't have to take my shoes off. I don't have to take my shit out my bag. I don't have to take off my jewelry. I don't have to do none of that. I just literally put my stuff on the conveyor belt and walk through. I that's the listen for me. It's it's worth it for me not to have to be sitting on the other side of TSA getting dressed. Okay, putting my shoes on, making sure I got my jewelry, making sure everything is back. Child, making sure I got all my stuff off the conveyor belt because I had 3 trays because I had to put my jacket in here and then I had to pull out my tablet and child, it's worth it. See, I was in and out of Real Housewives of Potomac last season, so I missed all of that even when the garden salad fight happened. So I'm really seeing me. Oh well, yeah. Then yeah, you definitely missed all that last season because the very first episode they brought Mia on the show, and they asked her how old she was, and the woman couldn't even tell you how old she was because, and I forgot what. The funny thing was, it was Robin who busted her because she said something, and Robin was like, "Wait a minute, that don't make sense. That don't add up. Like whatever she said, the years didn't add up." I don't remember what it was specifically now, but the years didn't add up. And Robin was like, hold up, that don't make sense. And so then Mia was like, oh no, well, I meant to say such and such. And Robin was like, that still don't add up. Like it still didn't add up. So I'm like, you didn't misspeak, you're lying. And you didn't do the math ahead of time. So, so I'm sitting here like, it doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm saying, like, none of Mia lying about Chris was so blatant and so obvious. And I loved how production busted her ass. I love it. I love how production was like, yeah, no, that's not what happened. Yeah. Oh, shit. TSA pre-check covers more airports than clear. Oh, they do? Oh, then I guess I'll just stick with what I got then, child. I'll stick with what I have. People who have watched Potomac since season 1 feel different than people who started season 5. Yeah, because I've been watching it from the beginning. So I still remember when Karen and Giselle got into that damn fight over Giselle sitting in the wrong seat at Karen's birthday party, and Karen bought her that damn etiquette book, honey. That was some classic Real Housewives of Potomac. When Karen had that conversation with Giselle about etiquette, honey, I said, Lord, that's just like Tiffany on Love and Marriage Huntsville line about being 34. Ain't no way. I'm 30 years old and she's only 4 years older than me. No, ma'am, absolutely not. People like me scare me. People like me scare me because me is sitting there, like, even this whole thing. Now, again, I don't agree with how Giselle approached the issue, but Giselle wasn't wrong for asking that woman about this whole cancer situation because the shit didn't make no sense. Even last week when G asked her about her, he said, well, I'm concerned about your health. And she said, why are you concerned about my health? Girl, because you're telling everybody you might have cancer. What are you talking about? Child, listen, my cousin had pre-checked before me, and she will leave you. She left her husband. We when we did our little family vacation like the summer before COVID. We went down to Florida for a week, and her husband didn't have pre-check. She sure did leave him. She went right through TSA pre-check and let him go through regular TSA. She said, I kept telling him, because she travels a lot for work. So she had it already for work. She was like, I kept telling him. I kept telling him. She sure did leave his ass. All right, y'all, it's been an hour. I'm going to set about 5 alarms, and then I'm getting ready to close my eyes for about an hour. Like I said, my Uber will be here at 4:30. I'm ready to walk out the door. All my stuff is packed. Everything except for my charger. I'm about to put my phone on the charger for about an hour. Close my eyes for about an hour. Get up. By the time I put my pants on and my shoes and grab my charger and go down the elevator, it'll be 4:30, child. So I've been dragging Ashley ever since she came for Katie and her mental health. That was some classic too. When you go back to season 1 and that whole they had a really interesting conversation about race in season 1. For all the people that are talking about the colorism and stuff like that, they had really good conversation season 1 because of Katie and the situation with her kids being Jewish because their father's Jewish and her raising them Jewish. And Katie brought up the fact that Robin, she said Robin was biracial. Robin was like, I am not biracial. I am black. Katie was like, oh, yeah, I know how Katie is. She was like, oh, well, you look like it. Yeah. All right. But I will talk to y'all later. Like I said, I'll be back in town. And I'll be back on my grind, honey. I'll be back on my grind. So, but I will catch y'all tomorrow. Well, later on tonight, I guess. Later on today, then, I guess. All right. Talk to y'all later.